Yo, what's good, guys? Inswain with Inswain Audio. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, man, where have you been? Make sure to subscribe and to join our family because I drop tutorials and videos just like this every day. There's not many doing it like this. Come on, man. Welcome. We missed you. Anyways, today I'm going to be answering a question off of Reddit regarding pet peeves and things that are just not so great or glamorous in the mixing, mastering, audio engineering, and just music space in general. I'm going to read the question. I'm going to give some of my answers. Let's have some fun. Let's talk about it. All right, so this person said, is there a particular thing that drives you nuts? For example, people not de-essing their vocals before going to a reverb, cables getting twisted and can't be coiled properly anymore, etc. What are your pet peeves? I'm going to talk about things that just in this career and music in general that can just not be the greatest things that you have to deal with, and it's just part of it, and they don't want to tell you that. They're trying to keep this from you. They're trying to paint it like, hey, be a mixing engineer and your life will be great. So the first thing and the biggest thing for me is problems with files, like the stems or whatever not lining up timing wise, like the vocal is all messed up. Like basically what happens is, say the verse starts at 30 seconds, there's supposed to be 30 seconds of silence before that verse track starts, but a lot of DAWs or people, the way they export, will trim that silence so it starts right when they pressed record. So then that 30 seconds of silence is gone and the verse starts right away. So then when you load them up into your session, whatever DAW it is, everything starts playing at once in the beginning and it doesn't line up. That is the main thing. Or it could just be like effects left on, or multiple tracks into one stem that are overlapping and duplicates. Just things like that. I absolutely hate that, and I don't blame anyone. It's not like I'm mad at the client or whoever's fault it is, quote unquote. It's not even that. It's just so frustrating because it's so hard to explain to someone, especially if they're not very experienced in music, what even went wrong or what it means, or that, hey, it's not my fault, I didn't mess it up. Like, it's not like I don't know how to import files or there's anything I could have done differently. And I'm definitely not going to line it up to a reference track because even 1 millisecond off, it feels wrong. We just got to go through, and now I got to walk them through how to export it properly. There's a million different DAWs and updates and versions that we have to figure out how to get it. And I always make it work, and we work together, and it's fine. It's no hard feelings. It's not like that. It's just an extra step, and then it happens so often. I feel like it happens every other day. So I actually made myself keyboard shortcuts on my phone. If I type like, I think it's Logic 1 or Pro Tools 1 or any of the DAWs, it'll just type up a thing that I've already typed up, how to do it. Here's a link to a video to show you how to do it because I've just dealt with this so much. So it's not a huge deal. A lot of jobs have it harder than this, but that just drives me crazy because I just see it coming so many times, and it's like, here we go again. The next one isn't as common, but it's a lot more common than you may think, and that is people not knowing what mixing and mastering is. Now, I'm not talking about your friends and your family who say, oh, come down from your room, you're making a little museum music, what are you doing? Not that. I'm talking about the clients you work with, the people that are coming to you for mixing and mastering, not knowing what mixing and mastering is, right? A lot of people don't have to deal with this. If you work at a restaurant, they know what food is. They know they're going to purchase something, eat it, and pay you when it's done. With us, I've noticed a lot of times, and it's once again usually with newer or less experienced people, which makes sense. It's fine. Everyone starts somewhere. I remember I didn't know what mixing and mastering was, the difference, right? We all got to start somewhere. It's not like common knowledge, but they'll come to me and they'll say, hey, I need mastering. And I'm like, okay, start talking to them. And then it finds out they just recorded their song. They actually need mixing and mastering. So then we got to kind of restart the process. Or vice versa. They'll come to me and they'll want mixing, but the song will have already been mixed at the studio they recorded at, and all they have is the one file, their stereo mix. And then I have to explain to them, hey, your song's already mixed. Whether you like that mix or not, you got to take that up with the mix engineer, but there's nothing I can do. I don't have the track outs. I can master it for you, but you have to like the mix. And the worst is when they're like, yeah, I want you to master it. And then I master it, and then they say, hey, can you tune the vocal? Can you put reverb? But they'll ask you a bunch of mix changes, and it's like, I didn't mix it. I'm not the mix engineer. I don't even have the power or a capability to change it, even if I wanted to and could. You have to go to your mix engineer, right? We're on two different jobs here. It's like you go to get your car painted, and you're like, oh, so great. I love the new paint. However, my brakes aren't really working. I don't really like what brand of car I have. It's like, hey, I just painted it. that's, you got to reach out to them. So that happens a lot. And that's just something they won't tell you, but you have to deal with it. Another one, this is probably more common in other fields as well, but not everywhere. And that is people wanting free work or free examples or anything. Now, it's one thing to ask. That's fine. Some people do work for free, so can't hurt to try, right? But some people just expect you to do it for free, or that you can be like, "Hey, can you just mix part of it and then send that to me, and if I like it, I'll do more." It's like, one, no. Two, that's not how it works. I would have to pretty much mix the whole song, and that's a whole conversation. But it's like, you don't go to a restaurant and say, "Hey, I'm going to get the cheeseburger, but can I just get it? And if I like it, I'll pay it. If not, it's just on you." Or, "Hey, can you come build my roof? If you do good, I'll pay you for it." It's like, no, this is what it costs for the service. You're hiring me because of my previous record. You obviously like the work, or you wouldn't be reaching out to me, right? So, and like I said, it's no hard feelings. Can't hurt to try to ask, but it's just one of those things that they're not going to tell you, that a lot of people are going to expect you to do free examples or samples, or they call them. And I'm just like, it doesn't even work like that. Like, even if I wanted to and I did that, like, I would have to mix pretty much the whole song. And at that point, it's like, what are we doing here? And then the last one that I thought of that happens a lot, and this is kind of a case by case depending on if you work in person or remotely, or how you charge hourly project. If you're a producer also, there's a lot of variables, but one thing that happens a lot is the client or the band or whoever changing the song after you mix it. Whether that be you, this is the most common one, is they give you the files, you mix it, you send it back, they say, "Hey, the mix is great, but I messed up this vocal take. I need to re-record it." And that's okay, but now I need to mix the song again. It's not always as simple as drag and drop the file in, because any difference in tone of voice, distance from the microphone, temperature in the room, all these things, now we got a different vocal take. We might not need to change much, but we might have to change some things, or at least I need to use my expertise to listen to know that we don't need to change anything, which is something that should be paid for, because you're paying for my expertise and my years of experience to know whether it needs to be changed or not and how to change it. So that's one thing. Or another thing is, they might say, "Hey, great, but let me add in a guitar," or this or that. And then the whole mix changes, because now you need to rebalance everything. And I am personally in the camp where it's like, I want the best for the client and the best for me. So if that's going to make the song better, your song better, and you think so, let's do it. But they have to understand the song was already mixed, so now we need to restart it, right? It's like, if you, once again, I'll use the restaurant thing. If you order a meal that's all baked together and then you say, "Hey, can I add this ingredient?" It's not always easy as just slap a piece of cheese on it. You might have to remake a whole new one from scratch. And the same thing applies to mixing. And sometimes the client doesn't understand that, and you might have to explain that, and then you have a weird conversation of payment and etc. It's just not fun. I don't like to ever be that guy, but we have to get paid, and I always want to do the best, but sometimes they don't have the budget, but they want things, but they're not going to pay. It's just a mess. And it's just a tough conversation to have. It's never fun, but I always am in the camp of try to make the people happy, and then they'll come back to you. But you also have to, kind of have your rules, whatever that may be. So I know I didn't really give you any solutions here. I kind of just raised problems for you, but I at least like to make you aware of it, because if you're going to do this mixing thing for real, you're going to come across these problems in one way or another. And that's just the reality of it. And like I said, we're blessed to do this. I'm blessed to do this. It could be so much worse. I've had other jobs and the complaints are definitely worse than this, but it's not all, what do they say? It's not everything that glitters is gold or something. Does that even apply to this? I don't know. Shout out Smash Mouth. Anyways, hope you got something from this. My name is Inswain with Inswain Audio. You know the drill. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share, man. We're going crazy. I love y'all. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.